All right, today we're going to talk about catfishing, and that is when someone pretends to be someone they're not on a dating app, on your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever. The term catfishing is really kind of a strange term, but what happens is there are people who are scammers. Usually they are men in Nigeria because Nigeria does not prosecute these people. And there's a whole network of these men that have scripts and that are sitting in these cafes. Some of them are traffic men, actually. And some of them are just entrepreneurs. And it's a very poor country. And they help each other run these scripts. And what they do is they go on the internet and they find photos of attractive people, of men or of women. And then they make a profile, either on Facebook or on a dating app like Match.com, on Bumble or Zoosk or whatever. And they make a profile using that other person's photos. So here we have a man named, I don't know, let's call him Nigeria, because he's in Nigeria. And he's a very ugly guy. And he takes a bunch of photos, in this case, photos of me. Okay, this has happened. Many people have used my photos. They've used other people's photos too. It's not because I'm super attractive or anything. But although I am having a good hair day actually today. Good hair day. But they can take photos of anyone that has a lot of photos online on their Facebook or on their Instagram. They take those photos and make their own profile pretending to be that person. There is one guy whose photos have been used in 4,000 different profiles. you know? So they create a persona. Now, unbeknownst to you, you're a man or you're a woman and you're on Facebook or you're on Match.com or you're on Zoosk or you're on Plenty of Fish and you see this very attractive person and they're messaging you and they're super interested in you. And you go for it. Man, this person's attractive. They're talking to me. And you get lured in. And you get lured in because they know how to talk to you. You know how the food advertisers have studied human behavior to get us to buy stuff? Have you ever gone in the grocery store and you wanted to buy the milk, but you also bought this, and this? Like, I'm horrible at Target. Target has got it nailed down to... it was worse when my kids were little and I would go in there just for the diapers and the Tide and the, gotta get some school supplies, and I would come out with the candles and with the, I need a new pillow need a new rug for the outdoors, and look at these, pretty little this and the pretty little that, and I like the shampoo, and I would come up with a whole bunch of stuff. Well, the scammers do the same thing. They are into the psychology, and they have scripts, and they have fine-tuned it to lure you in. And I'm going to tell you some of the things they do to lure you in, but I want to say that there's nothing wrong with you for being lured in because they prey on your natural trust. Okay, the people that are very vulnerable to this are people who are very trusting and people who have never been scammed. People whose lives have just been lived in trust, The same way that guys scam me by ghosting me after sex after my divorce. I'd never heard of guys doing that. It was like a whole new world. Okay, so as the world gets bigger and as the internet abounds, we have to be careful who we give our money and who we give our attention to. And the people who are very vulnerable to being scammed online by these fake personas are people who are lonely, very big, like if you're recently widowed or recently divorced or you're unhappy in your marriage, you're lonely. You're housebound, and you're trusting, and you're kind. Okay, now these scammers, they screen for that. They test you. They want to see someone that has a lot of time to respond to them, someone who's very kind, who's very empathetic, because you got to fall for their scams. You got to be a person who is okay with not meeting someone. You have to be a person who is very low on boundaries. You have to be okay and understanding about the fact that these people can never be on a video call with you. They can probably never get in a voice call with you, and they can never see you. And eventually they're going to start asking you for money, and you are so invested that you want to help out this person that you've never even met. Okay, so how does a typical catfishing thing go? I kind of started more on the back end, but this is how it usually goes. And I've seen, you got to watch some of these YouTube videos on catfishing. There are a bunch of channels devoted to that. And I think there's a very famous case too that was, I think there's some documentaries have been made about some of them, about these guys leading double lives even. You know, I think, was it Dirty John or the Tinder Swindler or something? But I'm making this video because a gentleman contacted me recently, and he was catfished using my photos. And there's this person using a female name that catfished two men, this gentleman and another guy 2 years ago, using my photos on my Just for Fans and the photos I had on Facebook at the time. At the time I had the photos on Facebook, after I found out that this guy was catfished, he contacted me, he found me. I made all my Facebook photos private, and I start watermarking all my photos. Now I don't have a Facebook anymore, and I don't have an Instagram. But even on my other business where I have photos of myself, all my photos now are watermarked. I highly recommend that people watermark their photos so that your photos cannot be used to catfish other people. Whether you're on Facebook or Instagram, I think it's really good to watermark all your photos. That's what I do. But anyway, so this woman, I won't say her name. Let's say her name was Zabina. They used a German name. Let's say her name is Zabina. So Zabina takes my pictures. It's a guy in Nigeria, probably, let's say, but although I don't know. And he made a profile called Zabina. He takes my pictures, makes a profile on Match.com and on Zoosk, and starts messaging these elderly gentlemen who fall for it. And then 2 years ago, this guy even asked me for a custom video on my Just for Fans. I made a custom video. It was a little X-rated. Okay, there was a dildo involved. It was blue, a blue dildo. I thought, oh, yeah, I'm going to, because I like to give guys like really good videos, longer than they asked for. And this person came back to me and said, I don't really want any dildo stuff. I just want you to blow kisses into the camera and say, Bob and Jim, I can't wait to meet you. So I'm like, this is very weird. You're paying me $300 for this video. Okay. Or $250, whatever it was. And so I made the video. And the gentleman who they sent it to found me a month later, and he sent me the copy that they had sent him. They had edited the video, and they had slow played the part about me blowing kisses, and apparently his name was Jim, and he had a son named Bob, and I was supposed to pretend like I was looking forward to meeting them. It was a total scam. I told Just for Fans about it, and they blocked that person off my account, but then it happened again a few weeks ago, and now they have deactivated that person's account on the site. So that was my experience. They're using my photos to make a profile on a dating app, but I have seen other ones where they will take like a really good looking guy and use his photos. These guys are always really good looking. The thing about these profiles is, whether it's the Sabina person or the handsome guy, the person is always out of the country, or if it's a guy, he's like a military guy, or he's on an oil rig. So these people have a lot of excuses why they cannot see you, or they're going out of the country. They have, and then they have all these horrible life stories that happen to them as soon as you get emotionally invested. And they will make up fake documents to prove that they're real. Fake passports, fake driver's licenses. They will even have fake websites set up for those that are trying to tell you, oh yeah, I just need you to invest some money and then you'll get some back. They'll send you a return. They have websites that are these fake investment websites that aren't even real. So guys, what you have to know, what you absolutely have to know, do not emotionally invest in someone you have never met. This is my biggest point I want to make to you. Do not start texting. Do not start messaging. Do not fall in love with someone you never met. You've got to have some boundaries. You want to meet me? Meet me here. We're having lunch here. We're having coffee. Meet me. Do not emotionally invest in people you've never met. You have no boundaries. That's the problem. That is the problem. Now, I'm not going to get too hard on you guys, because one of my most embarrassing stories is after my divorce, I met this guy, and he was a real guy. He was not a catfisher, on Plenty of Fish, and he was so hot. He reminded me of my ex-husband when we first met. So good looking, and he just inspired all these feelings in me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad we matched up, but too bad you're in, he was like an hour and a half away from me. And he goes, oh, beautiful, it's not that far. And I was like, oh, he's going to come see me, and he was going to like come down here. And then he had excuse after excuse after excuse. One time we briefly talked on the phone. I think he was married, actually, now that I think about it. Anyway, I did end up meeting him months later, and just for a hookup. I was just looking for sex at the time, and he was horrible in bed. It was one of the worst sexual encounters of my life. He was just so unemotionally connected to me. That's what made it bad. So I think I wrote that in my book of the fuck list, like falling for a guy I never met. So I'm telling you, it's happened to me. I'm not saying that I am better than you. Do not emotionally invest in people you've never met. I should have told the guy, you can't meet me? Bye. You're not able to come here? Bye. I'm not going to date some guy who can't even get his ass down here to San Diego. Bye. You got to be willing to say bye. So, these people will do this. I have a friend, he's also an elderly gentleman in his 70s, and he showed me, we were at lunch recently, and he was showing me on his Instagram, this person messaging him, and he was like, hey Shahrzad, I know that this is like one of those scammers you told me about. And so he doesn't really reply that much to this person who is like kind of a hot woman, younger woman, and but so every few days she'd be like, oh, don't you like me? She'll initiate the conversation. How have you been? What did you have for lunch? Oh, you don't really like me? Don't you like talking to me? Like, she's kind of like keeps coming after him and trying to get him emotionally hooked. That's what they do. And a lot of times they'll be like, what did you have for lunch? And you've got to watch some of these catfishing videos to see what I'm talking about. And then these men, they'll be like, well, I'm on the oil rig. Oh my God, I need some money. My son is starving. I can't get off the oil rig. I'm in the army and they're not feeding me. I can't leave. They're stolen my passport. I need money. I'm in the hospital. I need surgery. And they prey on your empathy. And now you've been talking to this person. They've given you all these warm feelings. They've given you this connection. You're so busy texting them. And now you have empathy. You want to help them out. But they're a charade. They're not even real. So I talked for a while to this gentleman. And when he found out that this person wasn't real, he was devastated, as they all are. It's you formed an attachment. We didn't evolve to form attachments to swindlers and to people on the phone, but they activate our attachment system. They're really good at it. They activate our emotional system, they activate our attachment system, and pretty soon you're in love with this person and you're looking at their pictures and kissing their pictures goodnight. And that's because you let yourself go there. That's what I mean. We can't let ourselves fall for people too quickly. We've got to vet them, and the best way to do it is to meet them as quickly as possible within 2 messages. Oh, you're out of the country? Bye. Oh, you're on an oil rig? Bye. You got to have some standards because these people are swindlers. At the very least, when you're on a dating app, you've got to get on a video call. Anyone who, and then they have excuses. Oh, my phone, I lost my phone. I don't have good reception. Well, if you're that incompetent, bye. You know, they have to prove to you that they're real. And there are a lot. When I was on Facebook, there were so many fake profiles. I could spot them like that. They have no pictures, you know, or just one kind of picture. And they're sliding into, you know, trying to friend you or... Okay. So what makes you vulnerable to a romance scam? This is a romance scam. The fact that you don't know that it's happening. It's a lack of knowledge. So here I'm telling you, people scam you online. They try to get your money, whether it's sending you an email to log into a certain website, your bank telling you, you know, your Zelle account was closed down. You got to call this number, or whatever scam they have. Don't fall for any of that. Whenever you're on a web, you got to log into that website directly. Don't click any links, and don't fall for anyone calling you or telling you you got to act right away or your account is shut down or whatever. Do not respond. Go to your bank's website directly. Go to whatever website it is directly. Do not click on any of these links that come to you. And I always look at who's sending the link, because I get scam stuff. There are a lot of scammers in the world and on the dating apps. Okay, if you meet someone on a dating app, you got to make sure you can meet them within 1 or 2 messages. And if they're out of town, you got to get on a video call. You got to have some standards. You got to make people prove that they're real. And people should want to be, if they want to meet you, they're going to want to get on the video call. They're going to want to meet you. But if they're a scammer, they do not want to meet you. They're going to have a shit ton of excuses, and they just want to message. Someone who wants to message you a lot is wasting your time. Okay, so here are my tips. This is what this gentleman gave me. Do not give out any personal information until you meet face to face. Do not give out your phone number. Do not get on WhatsApp. You're going to stay on the app until you've met the person. Now, I myself, when I've been on dating apps, I don't give out my number to guys because I'm like, I don't even know if I like you. And when I give out my number, they start texting me good morning and good night and all this bullshit. Like, I don't even know you. When I'm on a dating app, I'm on there to get to meet people. This is what a person who's on a dating app to date and meet people wants to meet people. They don't want to message you forever. They don't want to get off the app and start messaging you on WhatsApp or messaging you. Those are people wasting your time or trying to get your money, trying to get your attention for no effort on their part. Person who wants to meet you is going to put on some decent clothes, fix their hair, you know, fix, put on some earrings, and get their ass in the car and drive to meet you for lunch or dinner or drink or whatever it is, a hike. They're not going to be on a dating app, okay? So, and I'm worried about my friend who's on the Instagram thing because he might be getting some good feelings out of it. I'm going to have to ask him next time. So do not go on Google Chat. Do not email. Do not go on WhatsApp. Do not have phone calls. Keep it on the app. And the apps nowadays, they have video calling. So get on a video call right away. Hey, I'd love to chat with you before we meet. Are you free tonight for a video call? The video call is really good because you can see the person's home. They should be able to set aside time for a video call. If they can't, bye. If you don't want to do a video call, bye. Next. You're going to save yourself a lot of heartache because people have sent a lot of money to these scammers, and sometimes they've lost everything. But sometimes the money wasn't that meaningful, but the heartbreak was the worst part, the heartbreak. So, do not give out any personal information until you meet face to face, and do not invest more than 2 messages with someone before scheduling a meeting. Get on a video call right away, and you got to meet the person right away. And even when you meet people, you got to kind of check them out because there are a lot of scammers out there. So now, in the case of this gentleman, in the case of Just for Fans, they did the right thing. They deactivated that person's account. But Zoosk is not that nice. The gentleman sent a letter to Zoosk letting them know about the scammer. And Zoosk just said, thank you for writing to us. And that's it. I bet this person is still on there. Now, you have to know about the dating apps. They do not give a shit about you. They do not care if your heart is broken or if money is stolen from you. They do not care if you are robbed. There are women that meet guys on Bumble and go over to their house or wherever and then get drugged. Have you heard about this? The woman who died or was killed or whatever. They don't care. They don't care. You know what they care about? They want to make the money. They want to get a lot of subscribers. And this is why they do not ask for any verification. I think the last time I got on Bumble, they did ask me to verify. And it has a verification process on the app. But the others don't do that because it cuts down on their money. The dating apps are there to make money. They're not there to help you find love. They're not coming from a loving, compassionate, authentic place. If I were running a dating app, I would make everyone, I would have the same thing that they do for the women who are escorts, that they have, when they advertise on the different sites like Eros or Tryst, they have to upload on the site there. You have to be on the site. You can't upload a photo. You have to log into the site, and from there, front and back of your driver's license, and then a picture of your face, or you submit front and back of driver's license and a photo of yourself holding up a piece of paper. Your arms have to be showing, saying your stage name and the date it is and the website it is. So, because they don't want minors and they want to make sure that people are using their real photos. That's what they do. But the dating apps don't give a shit. They don't care. In order to be verified, some of them, you just have to make sure that you give a real email or a real phone number. They don't care. So if I were running a dating site and I actually cared about people, I would charge everyone money. Okay? Because if you're going on there for free, what the fuck do you guys expect? You guys want to go on a dating app, you don't want to pay anything, and you want to have good service. It doesn't work that way. You got to pay for it. Someone has to pay for the site. I would charge a decent amount of money, $25 or $30 a month. You want to date, you got to have some money. You got to show that you're invested in this, and your money is how you show it. And then I would get their ID, and I would verify the phone number, and I would make sure that my dating app has video calling. And then I would verify the photos and run reverse image searches to make sure the photos are real. And, you know, if people had complaints, I would take them seriously. I think Bumble is really good. One time I had a complaint about a guy on Bumble who stood me up, and Bumble sent me a bunch of flowers. I swear they sent me a whole thing of flowers. So I think Bumble is a lot better. If you do not know if somebody is catfishing you, you can run your photos through reverse images. Like you can join one of those. I think there's a site called Social Catfishing that you can join and submit the photo, and they will then do the reverse image search. Or also, I think if you go to Google, if you click on the little photo icon, you can upload a photo and they will do a reverse image search. So the dating apps do not have your best interests at heart. They just want to get they just want to have more money. And again, the more screening you do, the fewer customers you're going to have. I know this myself. The more screening I do, the fewer customers I have. Now, in my case, I don't want volume, I want quality, but they want volume, not quality. So you have to look out for yourself. Yeah. Now, it's one thing to be trusting, and it's another thing to be a people pleaser, not have boundaries, because sometimes I think people are just too understanding. You know, oh, oh, I can't come see you. I'm still on this oil rig. Don't be so understanding. If you can't get your fucking ass off the oil rig, you're not the kind of man I want. Bye. Or the guy's like, yeah, I'm in the army and they're not feeding me and I need money to travel. If you're that low grade in the army, if they're not feeding you, bye. I'm not going to go feed some guy, but people don't do that because they screen people, these catfishers, they screen you out based on your compassion, your empathy. So they'll test you at first. First they want to get like, I lost my phone. Can you send me $25? If you do that, they know they got you. They gotcha. Or they'll be like, oh, I have this really great investment idea. You put in $200 and I'll put in $200 and you'll get a 20% return. And then they have this fake website, and they give you your $200 back and your $40, and now you really believe it. And the next time you send them $10,000 and then you never get it back, or they'll be like, oh, I'm sending you a diamond, but it's stuck in customs. I just need money to get it out of customs. Well, if you're that helpless that you can't even manage your own life, bye. Okay, you guys have got to stop trying to save people. And the only thing, I think the only way you can avoid being catfished is to stop investing emotionally in people that haven't even taken the time to meet you. Do not invest in people who haven't taken the time to meet you. This is why I do not think that guys should be texting women who demand a bunch of texting, because they're emotional vampires or catfishers. Any woman who's interested in meeting you is going to want to meet you. And any man interested in meeting you is going to want to meet you. They do not want to text you. That is a huge fucking red flag when people don't want to meet you right away. That means they're not interested. They're either not interested, they're using you for attention, or they're going to try to get something from you. If someone doesn't want to have a video call or a date set up by the second text, bye. I don't deal with people who are helpless. I don't deal with people who are incompetent. I don't deal with people who have trust issues. Bye. You gotta be a little bit feisty like that, because there's a lot of crap out there. I mean, the last time I was on a dating app, I was like, I'm willing to go out with guys who are 6 out of 10. I just want to get some dates. And even those idiots stood me up. And they were like lame. I would have never really dated them, but I was just trying to get dates. There's so many losers out there. There's so many incompetent people out there. And the problem is, a lot of people are falling for the pictures that is not even of the person you're messaging with. You're messaging with a person who is this ugly fat guy in Nigeria. You're messaging with a short, fat, black dude in Nigeria. They're not that attractive, those short, fat guys with the round faces and the acne. They're not the hot black guys. You got some ugly black guy in Nigeria sitting in some rundown, dirty internet cafe, and you think it's some hot woman or someone like me. Well, someone like me isn't going to date some old rundown guy in his 70s. Let's just keep it real. And some hot guy, these hot army guys or these models whose pictures they use, is not going to date some fat, rundown woman in her 60s. Get real, you guys. So these women fall for this bullshit. So you got this hot guy, a very attractive face. He's supposedly on an oil rig, or he's an army guy. They always have one of those. Just because women like the military guys, and the oil rig guy is a hard worker and he can never meet you because he's always on the oil rig. And you got this really fat woman, like in her 60s. You got nothing going on. And the guy by the second day is like, I love you so much. And after a couple of weeks, I want to marry you. Get the fuck out of here. This woman is like, even I can't get guys like that. Even I can't get guys like that, okay? And I'm a lot hotter than these fat broads. I'm sorry. You guys are fucking deluded, a lot of these people. I mean, even I can't get hot guys like that, you know? So these people are deluded. You got to start asking yourself, why would a hot guy like that want me? Or why would a hot girl like that want me? People are just in a hey, I've been in the fantasy world myself too, okay? I've been in a fantasy world thinking I could get hot guys because I learned at Landmark that, you create your own life. We create our own reality. We're in charge of our life. Anything can happen. Anything is possible. Life is what you make it. We can create whatever we want. It's all bullshit. There's limits to what we can create. My ideal guy is some very hot guy in his 30s, like a Navy SEAL guy who's just going to adore me and fuck me mercilessly so well, and just love my kids and be a great cook and just be like an interesting conversationalist. Is that ever going to happen? No, it's not going to happen. Okay? And if you're some fatty, if you're some old rundown fatty, you're not going to get some really hot person to fall in love with you. Why would they? Okay, so again, a good reality check is who will actually go out with you. I think I came down really hard on these people, but I'm just trying to get you guys to wake up. But, it's not your fault because you didn't know. So I think more people need to make these catfishing videos. You didn't know, you were too trusting, you were living in a fantasy world, and you had no boundaries. That's the problem. People who are willing to just text someone without meeting them are just kind of desperate. Okay, if I'm a catfisher and I'm messaging you, and we're messaging and I'm telling you how much I miss you and all this, and you're not even asking to meet me, I'm like, this person has no fucking backbone. I'm going to get all this money out of them. Can you see? And they're just laughing with each other. Oh, yeah, she's messaging me back. She's telling me that she misses me too and sending me pictures. She's not even asking to meet me. She's, just like a chump. Don't be a chump. Anyone who is actually interested in dating you is going to meet you or get on a video call immediately. You got to have some boundaries. You got to have some standards. That's the end. That's the end. And I think, it's embarrassing when we fall for this. It's embarrassing. But it's only because people, you didn't know. Again, to summarize, to prevent from being catfished, make sure you meet the person within a couple messages. You want to have a video call or a date set up. If they cannot make the video call or they cancel the date, do not just bye. You gotta see them on a video call, at least. Else it's a bye. Okay? If you still get, it's your own fault. If you're willing to just message someone and get emotionally hooked in some fake persona, and maybe a fantasy person is all you really can handle. Maybe for some people, this fantasy is as much intimacy as they can handle. Maybe meeting a real person is too scary for you. Maybe this is all the intimacy you're comfortable with, all the social interaction you're comfortable with. Maybe you're too scared to leave the house. Maybe this is all the intimacy you can handle. But then you're going to have your heart broken because when you find out it was all a scam, you're going to feel foolish for having spent all that money. You're going to be mad that you spent all that money that someone stole from you. You're going to be mad at yourself. You're going to feel foolish and embarrassed. And you're going to be heartbroken. You're going to cry for a long time when your fantasy falls apart. That's the problem. Never give out any information to someone on a dating app. When you meet them in person, that's when you can give your real phone number. But guys on dating apps, they're always so quick to give out their number. They're so quick to give out their number because they feel so secure. Women don't want to give their number out right away. We feel more vulnerable. Men don't care. Here's my number. Like, they don't even value their number. Here's my number. Oh, can we get off the app and chat on WhatsApp? No. Bye. Why do you want to chat on me on WhatsApp? Why do you want to chat with me on WhatsApp? Fuck you, loser. What a fucking loser. It pisses me off when they say that. Why do you want to chat with me on WhatsApp? You fucking loser. Bye. I would just unblock them immediately. We're messaging right here. Why do we need to get off the app? There's no reason, there's no benefit to getting off the app. The only benefit is for the scammers, because once you're off the app, the people who run the app have no history of the messaging. Okay, they can't kick the person off. You want to stay on the app for your own safety. Yeah, so I really recommend that, if you're on these dating apps and you don't know what's real and what's not, I gave you some good tips. You can also try a professional dating service, or really just get out and meet people in real life. Now, if you live in a small town, it's much harder to meet people in real life because there are not that many people around you. So you might have to drive to your bigger town, go to a bigger town. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I have no prospects either. I'm 62. I'm in San Diego, which is huge. But people in San Diego are very, very flaky. They don't mind ghosting you. I grew up in Nebraska. There was no ghosting. Like, people still have a lot more Midwestern values and good manners. I was raised that when someone invites you to dinner, you bring some flowers for the hostess or a glass of wine. The next day you call and say thank you for having me over, or text them or write a letter. But now people have sex with you and they block you, like we've fallen so far. They'll just fuck you and block you. Like, whatever happened to thank you for the good sex? I really enjoyed myself. None of that. There's not even a thank you note. There's nothing. You're just like, we fucked and we're gone, or like, we set up a date. I changed my mind. I'm not in the mood. I'm not feeling it. It's like, this is the world that we're in. It's kind of funny. Yeah, so that's all I have to say. If you're interested in my videos, in the membership area, I make some videos about sex workers. I'm going to make one later today or tomorrow about who is hurt by sex work. When I say sex workers, I'm speaking of escorts, massagers with happy endings, strippers, phone cam, OnlyFans, just for fans, sugar babies. It's all of that. So that's going to be a longer video because I have had friends and have had experiences in several of these industries. But I do that in the membership area. So if you don't see how to join, you have to hit subscribe to see how to join. Once you hit subscribe, next to the subscribe button, there'll be a little button called join. You will not see that unless you've hit subscribe. And a lot of YouTubers have memberships, or they have a Patreon. So I think I have 10 members now. It's not that many, honestly. It's not that many, but it gives me a chance to talk about stuff that I want to talk about without saying it to just everyone, because I feel like that's not something I want to just share with everyone. Also, I'm writing a book right now about the escort business. I have some really interesting titles I think I'm spending more time thinking of titles than actually writing the book, because I'd rather make YouTube videos than write. So it's like, oh, I gotta take what's in my YouTube videos and put it in the book. I'm like, I do not want to sit down and write. I don't like being on my laptop and moving my arms. Like, it's just physically not as comfortable as just sitting down and talking. So that's a big part of it. And then I have to, when I'm writing, I have to reread it and rewrite it and edit it. And I do not like editing. I do not edit my YouTube videos. I barely edit my Just for Fans videos. Even my photos I take, I don't like editing, but editing is an important part of writing. when I wrote my first book, I spent more time on the editing than I did on the writing. And also I had to take out a lot of sections I had written. Right now, I've been advised that instead of writing my book in the I did this, I did that, to write more in the third person. She did that, and then the thoughts would be in the first person. So I think that's a really good idea. So I'm going to try that and improve my writing style. In my first book, my writing style was maybe not the best. So in this book, I want to do a better job on my writing style and hopefully sell more copies. There are some absolutely beautiful, beautiful clouds. And we do not get clouds very often in San Diego, and I love clouds. And we had a little bit of rain today. We don't get rain very often. And I'm just sitting here by the window looking at these trees, and there are these beautiful, billowy clouds that are partially dark, and the top of them is just the sun shining on them. They're just so pretty. And, you know, like, I can feel so much pleasure and joy in just seeing these clouds. Like, I feel so happy looking at that. But I will tell you, when I was going through my divorce, nothing. And that's, nothing could make me happy. Nothing. I was so sad. Nothing I looked at. These clouds would not make me happy. And that's the thing. When you get catfished on one of these apps and you're heartbroken, you know, or if you guys have gone through a breakup and you're heartbroken, clouds, nothing will do it. Nothing can, you know, nothing can make you smile or feel joy when you're going through that. It's nothing wrong with you, you know, it just takes time to heal, because we're dealing with our attachment system, and that's no joke. And that's why these catfishers are so bad, because they're messing with your attachment system. With your sense of security, with your sense of love and joy and pleasure, and they're messing with that. You know, they're breaking your heart. I do not believe in teasing men, in breaking men's hearts, in leading men on. I don't believe in that. But, you know, there are people that are either con artists, they don't give a fuck, and there are other people that are very broke, you know, they're doing it for survival. People do all kinds of things for survival. But you do not have to be caught in their web. Do not be caught in the web of deceit. And that's all I got for you.